Ladies and gentlemen, seekers of truth, light, and abundance. Today, I want to reveal something not taught in most classrooms, rarely spoken in boardrooms, and often misunderstood even in spiritual circles. It's a truth ancient mystics knew, wise sages whispered, and one that Florence Scovel Shinn boldly declared with confidence. One of the most powerful spiritual codes that governs the flow of money is hidden in the simplest act, the words you speak. Florence Scovel Shinn, a pioneering metaphysical teacher, taught that your word is your wand. This wasn't poetic fluff, it was spiritual law. Every word you speak carries vibration, and that vibration either aligns you with the energy of abundance or pushes it away. Most people don't realize how they talk about money every day. They complain about their bills, talk about how broke they are, laugh nervously when someone mentions wealth, or criticize those who have more. These words may seem harmless or just part of conversation, but spiritually speaking, they are commands. Spells you're casting over your life, your finances, and your future. Money is not just paper or digital numbers. It is a form of energy that responds to consciousness. It flows to those who align with it mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Words are one of the most direct tools we have to shape that alignment. If your words constantly affirm lack, even casually, you will notice that no matter how hard you work or how much you try to earn more, your financial life remains stuck. That is not because you are lazy or unworthy. It's because your inner and outer speech is in contradiction with abundance. Every time you say things like, "I can't afford that," "money doesn't grow on trees," or "rich people are greedy," you are reinforcing a belief system rooted in limitation and scarcity. These beliefs take root in your subconscious, and your subconscious, like fertile soil, grows whatever seed you plant, whether that seed is lack or wealth. On the other hand, when you start consciously choosing words that affirm abundance, even before you see it physically, you begin to reprogram your energy field. You start speaking from the identity of someone who trusts the universe, who sees money as an ever-flowing river, not a stagnant pond. Affirmations like, "Money comes to me easily and frequently," "I am aligned with the energy of wealth," and "all my needs are met with grace," begin to shift not just your mindset but your vibration. And your vibration is your point of attraction. When your vibration matches the frequency of wealth, money begins to flow, sometimes through expected means, often through unexpected sources. Opportunities appear, ideas form, the right people show up. You find yourself guided, not by logic, but by inspiration. But here's the challenge. Most people speak from what they currently see, not from what they want to create. They say, "I'm broke," because their bank account says so. They say, "I never have enough," because their bills are piling up. But that's not how spiritual law works. The law doesn't respond to what is. It responds to what you affirm. To speak only what is to stay where you are. To speak what you desire, even if it seems irrational, is to begin co-creating with the divine. You don't wait to have money to say you are prosperous. You speak prosperity, and then watch as life begins to organize itself around your declaration. Florence Scovel Shinn emphasized that your word sets the law in motion. Think of your words like a key. Every time you speak something aligned with wealth, you're turning that key in a spiritual lock. With consistency, the door opens, but inconsistency, where you affirm abundance in the morning and complain of lack by evening, keeps the door jammed. The universe is exact. It mirrors not what you want, but what you believe and express. That's why changing your language around money is one of the most immediate and powerful shifts you can make. To apply this code, you must first become aware. Notice what you say casually about money. Notice what phrases you've inherited from your family, your culture, your environment. "We're just surviving," "That's too expensive," "I'll never be rich." These are not harmless phrases. They are energetic barriers. Once you're aware, replace them. It may feel strange at first, almost dishonest, to say, "I am wealthy," when you feel poor. But understand, you're not lying to yourself. You're aligning yourself. You're speaking from the version of you who already exists on a higher spiritual frequency, waiting for you to meet them there. This isn't about pretending or living in denial. This is about creating a new energetic blueprint with your words. When you align your language with abundance, you give the universe permission to meet you at that level. The shift can feel magical, but it's not magic, it's cause and effect. Words are the cause, wealth is the effect. If you desire more money, don't just work harder, speak wiser. Don't just hustle, declare. Say things that reflect trust, not fear. Speak life over your finances. Speak increase over your income. Speak overflow into your bank account. And remember, you're not commanding the universe like a boss. You're cooperating with it like a partner. Your words are not demands, they are invitations. They are signals. When your words resonate with gratitude, faith, and expectation, you are sending out a frequency that money recognizes. And like a moth to a flame, money moves toward clarity, confidence, and certainty. It avoids confusion, contradiction, and fear. In the end, the spiritual code that opens the flow of money is not about chasing wealth. It's about allowing it. And the doorway to that allowance is through your tongue. Every word is a seed. Every sentence a path. Every declaration a creation. So speak wealth. Speak boldly. Speak with authority. Speak as if God has already answered, because in the spiritual realm it already has. Now it's your job to say it until you see it. Faith is the invisible force that activates the visible flow of money. It's the spiritual currency that unlocks all abundance. Without faith, wealth remains an idea, a wish, a hope. With faith, it becomes substance, tangible, accessible, and real. Florence Scovel Shinn repeatedly emphasized that faith is not blind belief, but spiritual confidence. It is the knowing, not the hoping, that what is yours by divine right will find its way to you in perfect timing. Money, in this spiritual framework, does not come through begging, stressing, or striving. It comes through trusting. Many people speak about wanting more money, yet their energy reveals deep fear, doubt, and distrust. They hope for increase while simultaneously preparing for lack. They speak affirmations with their mouths, but worry in their hearts. This split energy blocks the flow of prosperity. Spiritual law responds not to surface-level words, but to the deeper vibration of belief behind them. If you say, "Money comes to me easily," but you feel panic every time a bill arrives, the universe responds not to your words, but to your dominant frequency, and that frequency is fear. Faith, then, is more than just repeating affirmations. It is about living in a state of certainty. It is waking up with the inner conviction that your needs are already met, that the money you require, the opportunity you seek, the breakthrough you long for is already unfolding in your favor. Faith does not require physical proof, it is the proof. The spiritual law is that when you believe without seeing, you will soon see what you believe. But here's where most people get trapped. They confuse faith with fantasy. Fantasy is imagining wealth while emotionally anchored in doubt. Faith is affirming wealth and anchoring yourself in peace. Fantasy asks, "What if this doesn't work?" Faith declares, "It's already done." Faith speaks from the end result. It sees the bank account full before the deposit clears. It gives thanks before the miracle arrives. It is proactive, not reactive. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that if you act as if your good is already yours, the universe has no choice but to deliver. This is not delusion. This is alignment. If you were certain that financial abundance was coming, how would you act today? Would you stress over that unexpected bill? Would you keep repeating that you're barely making it? No, you would walk in calm confidence. You would pay what you can with peace, trusting more is on the way. You would speak abundance, not because it looks that way yet, but because your faith knows it's unfolding. This is the essence of living in the spiritual code. The unseen governs the seen. Faith is the bridge between the spiritual and the physical. Whatever you desire financially, a new stream of income, a home, a business, debt relief, begins not with effort, but with unwavering belief. And the more consistent your belief, the faster your physical reality adjusts to match it. There is a passage in Shinn's work that says, "Faith is expectancy. You expect the things you speak to come to pass. That expectation is the magnet. It draws resources, people, ideas, and timing into divine alignment. And yes, it may not happen overnight, but it will happen with precision when you hold the vibration long enough." Faith is not passive, it is active. It does not sit and wait. It prepares the table before the feast arrives. It plants seeds without demanding instant fruit. It walks by inner vision, not by outer circumstances. And it's important to understand, faith doesn't mean ignoring financial challenges. It means seeing beyond them. It means when you have 10 and need 100, you don't speak panic, you speak provision. You say, "I bless this 10 and I trust the rest is on its way." That attitude of trust is what expands that 10 into more. The universe responds to your inner certainty, not your outer desperation. So when you encounter delays, don't collapse in doubt. Strengthen your belief. Say, "I don't know how, but I know it's coming." That's the kind of language that aligns you with the current of money, not as a struggler, but as a co-creator. Faith is also a choice. You choose it daily, moment by moment, especially when appearances tempt you to worry. That's when you must choose to speak from your higher self, your spiritual self, the part of you that knows abundance is not earned through suffering, but received through surrender. The ego wants to control the outcome. Faith lets go and trusts divine order. The ego says, "I need to see it to believe it." Faith says, "I believe it, so I will see it." A faith does not deny effort, but it transforms it. Instead of forced action, you take inspired action. You don't grind just to survive. You move with confidence because you are led. Your steps are guided. Your ideas are divinely timed, and your energy becomes magnetic. People trust you. Money flows more easily, and even obstacles become stepping stones, not stumbling blocks. In conclusion, the flow of money is not primarily a material issue. It is a spiritual one. And the code to unlock that flow is written in the language of faith. When you trust in the invisible as deeply as you once feared the impossible, everything shifts, your energy shifts, your language shifts, your results shift. So today, if you want to see money move in your life, move your belief first. Say yes to faith even when facts look small. Speak abundance, act with expectancy, and walk in peace. Let faith be your strategy. Let trust be your foundation. There is a divine rhythm to everything in this universe, a sacred order, an invisible intelligence that moves the stars, orchestrates seasons, and aligns events far beyond what the human mind can grasp. When it comes to money, this same intelligence is at work. What is yours, the money, the opportunity, the success, the abundance, is already set aside for you by divine right. It doesn't require manipulation, force, or fear to arrive. It requires trust in divine right timing and supply. This principle, deeply emphasized by Florence Scovel Shinn, teaches that when you are spiritually aligned, everything you need is released to you. Not when you panic, but when you are prepared in faith. Most people think they need to chase money to survive, compete to succeed, or rush to get ahead. But the spiritual code is different. Divine law says what is mine by divine right cannot be taken from me, delayed, or denied. It will find me. That kind of truth doesn't just shift your mindset, it liberates your soul. Because suddenly, you're not hustling from fear. You're walking in confidence. You stop grasping and start allowing. You stop stressing over the how and start trusting in the when. Money that is truly yours does not need to be earned through desperation. It comes through alignment, and alignment requires patience. Patience isn't waiting with frustration, it's waiting with peace. It's knowing that just as a seed knows when to break through the soil and a flower knows when to bloom, your prosperity knows when to arrive. And when it does, it will be right on time, not a moment too soon or too late. The problem arises when people judge their worth or their life by temporary delays. They think because something hasn't happened yet, a raise, a job, a windfall, a breakthrough, that it's a no. But in the realm of divine law, a delay is not a denial, it's a recalibration. It's the universe moving pieces into perfect place, unseen by you, but fully seen by infinite intelligence. The supply is there. It's never missing. What's often missing is the trust required to receive it. You don't get paid spiritually for effort, you get paid for alignment. And that alignment means trusting the pace of life. It means not comparing your path to others. It means knowing that the same source that feeds the birds and clothes the lilies also knows your rent is due, your business needs support, and your dreams are valid. When you truly believe this, you stop panicking. You stop hustling from a place of fear. You take action, yes, but you do it from inner stillness. You become a magnet, not a chaser. Florence Scovel Shinn often said that people block their own supply by their worry. The more you worry, the more you declare to the universe, I don't believe I'm supported. And the universe, ever exact, mirrors your belief. But when you say, I trust divine order, my supply is guaranteed, you shift the vibration of your life. Your energy becomes receptive. Doors begin to open. Phone calls come in. People offer help. Resources show up. And it's not because you earned. It's because you aligned with it. When you rest in the truth of divine right timing, you stop trying to force things. You let go of opportunities that don't feel right, because you trust a better one is coming. You don't accept less out of fear. You wait in expectancy for what matches your worth, and when you trust your supply is divinely orchestrated, you realize money doesn't just come from jobs, clients, or strategies. It comes from source, and source has infinite channels. Your job is not your source. Your business is not your source. They are merely channels. The true source is spiritual, unshakable, unlimited, and always on time. Living from this truth brings peace in the waiting. You stop rushing. You stop needing immediate answers. You start preparing, not panicking. When you know your good is coming, you act like it. You don't sulk in the shadows, you shine anyway. You make room for the blessing. You open a savings account before the money arrives. You write down business ideas before the investor shows up. You act in faith, not fear. Because the universe responds to the vibration of preparation. Often, people delay their own good by getting ahead of divine timing. They settle too soon, they act too fast, they speak too carelessly. But when you walk in alignment, you move with divine intelligence. You pause when needed. You leap when prompted. You let intuition guide you, not impulse. And as a result, your life unfolds in grace. Trusting in divine right supply doesn't mean you do nothing. It means you do the right things from the right state of being. You follow inspired ideas, you take aligned action, but you leave the outcome to spirit. You stop clutching every coin in fear. You start circulating money with joy, knowing that what you give returns multiplied. You begin to see money not as a static number, but as a flow. And when you flow in trust, the river of abundance never runs dry. In the end, what opens the flow of money is not force. It's not strategy alone. It is the deep inner knowing that you are supported, provided for, and guided by an intelligence far wiser than fear. When you rest in divine right timing, you realize there is no scarcity, only spiritual precision. And when you walk in this truth, the money you need, the clients, the checks, the opportunities, the favor, comes to you in ways you never imagined. Unexpected doors swing open. Delayed blessings arrive with interest. Supply flows in streams you never saw coming, so trust the timing, honor the process, believe in the source, and most of all, rest in the knowing that what is yours cannot be withheld. It is already on the way. Walk like it, speak like it, live like it, and watch the flow of money move to meet you. Money, at its deepest level, is not just paper, coins, or digital numbers on a screen. It is energy, and energy needs space to flow. Just like a river cannot flow through a blocked channel, money cannot flow into a life that is clogged with emotional debris. And one of the most powerful, yet often ignored, spiritual blockages is unforgiveness. Whether it's a grudge against another person, resentment toward an old employer, bitterness over financial loss, or guilt from past mistakes, these emotions form invisible walls that restrict the movement of abundance. Forgiveness is not just an act of compassion, it is an energetic act of liberation that clears the pathway for wealth to arrive. Florence Scovel's Shinn understood this deeply. She often reminded her readers and listeners that resentment, blame, and inner judgment act as spiritual poison. They may not be visible on the surface, but they are silently creating resistance. You might be saying affirmations, setting goals, and working hard. But if you're harboring resentment, you're sending mixed signals to the universe. On one hand, you're asking for abundance, on the other, you're clinging to emotional weights that repel it. The law of attraction doesn't respond to what you say. It responds to what you feel consistently. And where unforgiveness lives, lack lingers. Many people associate forgiveness with weakness, as if letting go means condoning someone's wrong behavior. But forgiveness isn't about them. It's about you. It's about releasing toxic energy from your spirit so that life can move freely through you again. Holding on to past financial betrayal, whether from a business partner, a friend, or even yourself, ties up the flow of prosperity. It creates spiritual debt, and the only way to wipe the slate clean is to forgive completely. When you forgive, you open the floodgates. You signal to the universe that you are ready to move forward, that you are no longer stuck in the story of hurt or loss, that you are available for new energy, new blessings, and new wealth. Forgiveness is not always easy. It often requires facing the pain you've buried, but it is always freeing, and it is always necessary if you truly want to shift into abundance consciousness. Forgiveness is also not limited to others. Sometimes, the person you most need to forgive is yourself. Perhaps you mishandled money in the past. You made a poor investment. You stayed in a low-paying job too long. You missed a golden opportunity. And now, without even realizing it, you carry guilt. Guilt that keeps you subconsciously punishing yourself. You may say you want more money, but deep down, you believe you don't deserve it. That belief, left unchecked, becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You turn away abundance, not because it isn't available, but because you believe you are unworthy. The truth is you are worthy, not because of your perfection, but because of your presence. You are here alive, connected to Source, and that alone qualifies you to receive. Mistakes do not make you unworthy, they make you human. And your willingness to forgive yourself is what brings spiritual correction and energetic restoration. When you say, I release myself from the past, I forgive myself completely, I am now aligned with wealth, you begin to dissolve the inner walls that once blocked the flow. Florence Scovel's Shinn gave us a powerful affirmation. I do not resist this situation. I put it in the hands of infinite love and wisdom. Let the divine idea now come to pass. This is the essence of forgiveness. It is surrender. It is saying, I no longer hold on to this pain, this wrong, this wound. I hand it over to something higher than my ego, and in doing so, you stop carrying the weight of the past into your financial future. When you forgive, truly forgive, your energy becomes lighter. You begin to feel freer. You feel more hopeful. You feel more deserving. You no longer have to pretend or protect yourself. You become open. and openness is the natural habitat of prosperity. Money flows where energy is free, when your heart is clean and your spirit is at peace. Wealth recognizes that it is safe to enter. It's like opening a window in a room that has been closed off for years. Fresh air rushes in. Light returns. Life begins again. It's also important to remember that forgiveness is not always a one-time event. Sometimes it is a daily practice. There may be layers. Some days you feel at peace, and others, old pain resurfaces. That's okay. Healing is not linear. What matters is your intention, your willingness to keep choosing freedom over bitterness, to keep saying, I choose to let go, I choose peace over punishment, I choose love over resentment. As you walk in this energy, you'll begin to notice things shift. Money begins to move again. People begin to support you. Delayed payments arrive. Unexpected income appears. Doors that were once closed begin to open. And it's not because you forced it. It's because you made room for it. The law of prosperity is always working, but you must be in spiritual agreement with it. And forgiveness brings you back into that agreement. In conclusion, if you feel stuck financially, don't just look at your habits. Look at your heart. Who are you still resenting? What guilt are you still holding onto? What financial wound are you still rehearsing in your mind? Then choose to release it. Not tomorrow. Not next month now. Forgive them. Forgive yourself. Forgive the past. And as you do, you'll find the energy of money begin to flow again, not as a trickle, but as a powerful, unstoppable stream of abundance. Because money is never far. It's just waiting for you to clear the way. Everything that exists in the physical world once existed in the unseen, in the mind, in the heart, in the spirit. Before a house is built, there is a blueprint. Before a book is written, there is a vision. Before money enters your life in abundance, it must first enter your inner world. Visualization is the spiritual practice of seeing what you desire with clarity and conviction before it arrives in form. It is not make-believe or fantasy. It is the act of mentally and emotionally rehearsing your future reality until it becomes magnetic enough to manifest in the material world. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that man can only receive what he sees himself receiving. This simple truth is the cornerstone of conscious creation. You must see it in the spirit before you hold it in your hand. The problem is, most people are constantly visualizing, but they're visualizing the wrong things. They imagine bills piling up. They picture failure. They play worst-case scenarios in their mind like a movie on repeat. And without realizing it, they attract those very outcomes into their lives. The law of mind is exact. Whatever you focus on, you energize. Whatever you energize, you attract. So if you want money to flow into your life, you must first train your inner vision to welcome it. Visualization is not about daydreaming or escapism. It's about discipline. The discipline to redirect your attention from appearances to potential, from fear to faith. When your outer world doesn't yet reflect wealth, your inner world must become a sanctuary of abundance. You must see yourself wealthy, even when your account is low. You must picture your debt paid off, even as the statements arrive. You must mentally dwell in the home you desire, feel the success of your business thriving, hear the sounds of financial freedom, even if no one else can see it yet. That is the power of spiritual sight. The subconscious mind cannot distinguish between what is real and what is vividly imagined. When you consistently visualize your desired outcome with emotion and belief, your subconscious begins to accept it as true. And once your subconscious accepts an idea, it goes to work aligning circumstances, ideas, opportunities, and people to bring that idea into form. This is not wishful thinking. It is the mechanics of spiritual law. The clearer your vision, the more precise the results. But visualization is not just about seeing images. It's about creating feeling states. The key to powerful visualization is emotion. You must not only see yourself receiving money, you must feel what it's like to have it. Feel the relief. Feel the joy. Feel the gratitude. These emotions amplify your vibrational field, tuning you into the frequency of abundance. And just like a radio, once you're tuned into the right station, you begin to receive the broadcast. It's also important to make visualization a daily practice. Just like physical muscles grow with repetition, your spiritual faculties strengthen with consistency. Each day, take time to go within. Close your eyes and create the reality you wish to step into. Picture your goals as already complete. Hear the congratulations, smell the scents, touch the textures. Involve all your senses. The more vivid the picture, the faster the manifestation. You are not asking the universe to give you something. You are rehearsing the arrival of what is already yours by divine right. Many people give up on visualization because they don't see instant results. But the delay is not a denial. It is a process. Just as a seed takes time to become a tree, your vision takes time to move from the unseen to the seen. Your job is not to force the timing. It's to remain faithful to the image. Doubt is what blurs the vision. Faith is what sharpens it. And gratitude is what accelerates it. The beauty of visualization is that it also reprograms your identity. When you repeatedly see yourself as wealthy, you begin to feel wealthy. You walk differently. You speak with more authority. You make choices from a place of value, not lack. And the world responds to this new energy. People sense your confidence. Opportunities open. You're no longer waiting for money to change your life. You are changing your life so that money feels welcome to enter it. This practice also helps you overcome old limiting beliefs. Many of us were raised with distorted images of wealth. We saw money as stressful, dirty, or reserved for other people. Visualization allows you to overwrite those mental pictures with new ones. Images of ease, generosity, expansion, and joy. You begin to see money as your friend, not your enemy. As a tool, not a trap. And that shift changes everything. The more you visualize abundance, the more natural it becomes to attract it. You stop resisting wealth because you've already lived with it in your imagination. It no longer feels foreign or unattainable. It feels familiar. And the universe always delivers to the identity you hold, not the one you pretend to be. In the end, visualization is not just a spiritual practice. It is an act of creation. You are painting your reality with the brushstrokes of your imagination. What you see repeatedly, you begin to believe. What you believe consistently, you begin to embody. And what you embody fully, life mirrors back to you. So if you truly want to open the flow of money, don't wait for your environment to change. Change your inner landscape. Take time each day to see yourself already living the life you desire. Not someday. Not when the circumstances are perfect. Now, see it, feel it, honor it. Because the moment you hold the vision, the universe begins to respond. And if you stay faithful to the picture in your mind, it will one day become the picture of your life. Gratitude is one of the most powerful spiritual forces for multiplying money. It may seem simple, even too ordinary to make a difference, but it holds a key to unlocking abundance that most people overlook. Gratitude is not just a polite expression or a feel-good habit. It is a vibrational declaration that says, I already have. I am already blessed. I am already rich in ways beyond measure. And when you dwell in that energy, the universe hears your frequency and responds in kind. The more you give thanks, the more you are given to be thankful for. Most people misunderstand the role of gratitude in attracting money. They think they'll feel grateful after the money comes. They say, I'll be thankful when I can pay off these debts. Or, I'll appreciate life more once I'm financially free. But the spiritual code is not based on delayed reactions. It's based on present vibrations. Gratitude must come before the blessing fully arrives. It is the emotional soil in which abundance grows. When you express sincere gratitude for what you have, even if it's not much, you prove to the universe that you are a good steward of wealth. You send the message, I recognize the good. I'm ready for more. A Florence Scovel Shinn taught that nothing more completely opens the flow of prosperity than heartfelt gratitude. She emphasized that we must thank the universe in advance, not just after receiving, but while we're still in the space of expecting. This is where many people fall short. They complain about not having enough and then wonder why more doesn't come. But complaint and abundance cannot coexist. One cancels out the other. Gratitude, on the other hand, opens doors that effort alone cannot. It's easy to be grateful when everything is going well. The real test is in moments of lack, struggle, or uncertainty. Can you give thanks for a small paycheck while still believing a larger one is coming? Can you bless the money you have, however little, instead of cursing it for not being more? Can you say, "Thank you," for your current situation, knowing that it's preparing you for something greater? That's the spiritual challenge and the spiritual key. Because what you bless increases, what you curse withers. Money, like any energy, responds to appreciation. When you appreciate something, you assign it value, and the universe delivers more of what you value. Gratitude also shifts your internal state from lack to sufficiency. It reminds you that no matter how things look, there is always something working in your favor. There is always a reason to be thankful. You may not have all the money you want yet, but you have the breath in your body, the roof over your head, the lessons you've learned, the ideas in your mind, and the strength to begin again. When you acknowledge these things with gratitude, you no longer feel desperate, you feel empowered, and that empowerment becomes a magnet for greater good. In practical terms, gratitude trains your mind to focus on abundance. Instead of obsessing over what's missing, you begin to see what's present. And the more you see what's present, the more present you become. This awareness creates clarity. It awakens you to opportunities, to possibilities, to resources you may have overlooked while focused on scarcity. Gratitude clears your vision so you can recognize the answers that are already near you. One of the most transformative practices is to start and end each day with gratitude. In the morning, before anything else, give thanks, not just for what you have, but for what's on its way. Thank the universe for the money that is already circulating toward you. Say thank you for the unexpected income, the new clients, the surprising opportunities. Don't wait until you see them, bless them now. And in the evening, reflect on everything that went right, no matter how small. This simple habit creates a momentum of appreciation that builds spiritual wealth long before physical wealth arrives. Gratitude also dismantles envy and comparison, two silent killers of abundance. When you are truly grateful for your journey, you no longer resent someone else's success. You celebrate it. You no longer feel behind. You feel on time. Gratitude returns you to your own lane. It reminds you that your path is sacred, and that all good things come to you in divine right order. There's no need to compete, no need to rush, only a need to trust and appreciate what is as you move toward what's coming. Moreover, gratitude keeps your heart open, and an open heart is the best vessel for receiving. When you live in gratitude, your energy says, "I am ready, I am available, I am already full," and the universe, ever precise, fills what is open and ready. You don't have to scream, beg, or push. You just have to notice the good, bless it, and expect more. In conclusion, if you desire more money, don't just chase it. Thank for it. Thank for every penny, every payment, every provision, even the ones that haven't shown up yet. Say thank you for the freedom that's coming, the abundance that's unfolding, the wealth that's awakening. Gratitude is your signal to the universe that you are aligned with prosperity, that you are no longer looking through the lens of lack, but through the lens of overflow, and what you consistently feel, you will eventually see. So let your life become a prayer of gratitude. Let your words speak thanksgiving. Let your thoughts dwell on the blessings already around you. Because in the realm of spirit, gratitude is the password that unlocks the vault of abundance. And once that door opens, it doesn't trickle, it pours. The law of vibration tells us that everything in the universe is energy, including money. Wealth is not just a number in a bank account or a pile of paper. It's a frequency, a vibration, a state of consciousness. To attract it, you must match it. This is the core idea behind the principle of act as if. It means to live, move, speak, and make decisions from the mindset and energy of already being wealthy, even before the physical evidence appears. This isn't pretense or arrogance. It's alignment. It's walking in the vibration of what you claim to desire until it naturally shows up in your world. Florence Scovel Shinn often taught that what you feel yourself to be, you become. So if you continue feeling like someone who is broke, desperate, and in lack, that's the reality you extend. But if you shift your identity and begin to feel like someone who is abundant, stable, and supported by divine supply, the outer world begins to mirror that shift. The law is exact. The outer reflects the inner. So if you want a wealthy life, you must begin by living as a wealthy soul, not with recklessness or fantasy, but with consciousness and intention. 2. Act as if does not mean going into debt to look rich or pretending to be someone you're not. It means making choices from a prosperous mindset. Ask yourself daily, what would a wealthy version of me do in this situation? Maybe they wouldn't panic when a bill arrives. Maybe they would invest in personal growth. Maybe they would speak with confidence, walk with purpose, and give generously. When you act from that version of yourself, you begin to create the conditions in which abundance feels comfortable to enter. One of the most powerful ways to embody the wealth vibration is through language. Words are tools of creation. When you speak from abundance, you start shaping an abundant reality. Stop saying, "I can't afford that." Instead say, "That's not a financial priority right now, but I'm open to the resources arriving." Don't declare, "I'm broke." Declare, "Money is on its way to me." Your subconscious mind listens to everything you say. The more you speak from a place of wealth, the more your subconscious begins to accept that wealth is part of your identity. Another essential shift in acting as if is the posture of expectation. You must begin to expect good things to happen. Expect clients to find you. Expect creative ideas to flow. Expect divine appointments, open doors, and financial breakthroughs. This expectation is not fantasy. It is faith in motion. It's the spiritual certainty that what you desire is already moving toward you. When you live in expectation, you don't chase opportunities, you magnetize them. You don't beg for favor, you prepare for it. Living as if also means honoring your money, no matter how little you have right now. Treat your finances with dignity. Organize your wallet. Bless your bank account, and take care of the money that flows to you. When you respect money, you demonstrate readiness for more. And when you circulate money with gratitude, whether it's a 5,000 bill or a 500 transaction, you send the message, "I trust the flow. I am part of the flow." And that trust is what keeps the river of wealth flowing toward you. Your physical environment also plays a role in this vibration. A wealthy mindset thrives in clean, clear, and beautiful surroundings. You don't need a mansion to live like a millionaire. You just need to treat your space as sacred. Create order. Bring beauty into your life. Get rid of what doesn't serve you. When you act as if you deserve to live in a prosperous atmosphere, your outer life rises to match your belief. One of the most overlooked parts of this principle is self-worth. Many people desire money, but deep inside, they don't believe they're worthy of receiving it. So they sabotage it, resist it, or feel guilty when it comes. Acting as if means healing your relationship with deserving. It means knowing, not just wishing, that you are enough. That you are inherently valuable. That you don't need to earn or prove your way into abundance. You only need to align with it. And once you embody that worthiness, the flow becomes natural. Embodying the wealth vibration is also about generosity. Wealthy people give freely, not just because they can, but because they understand the law of circulation. Money is like blood. It must flow to stay healthy. When you act as if you are already abundant, you bless others without fear. You give without strings. You tip generously, offer help, support others' dreams, because you know that what you give returns multiplied. Giving keeps you open to receiving. Finally, acting as if requires consistency. You can't step into the wealth vibration for a few minutes and then fall back into doubt the rest of the day. You must live it, breathe it, believe it, even when there's no outer proof. Because that is what faith looks like. It's being loyal to a future you cannot yet see. It's holding the vibration of wealth in your body, mind, and spirit so consistently that the universe has no choice but to catch up with your energy. In conclusion, the spiritual code that unlocks the flow of money is not a trick or shortcut. It's a way of being. When you act as if, you rise to meet the life you want instead of waiting for it to come to you. You stop begging and start becoming. You stop wishing and start walking. You begin to embody wealth from the inside out, in your thoughts, your words, your habits, and your energy. And that embodiment becomes your magnet. So today, decide to carry yourself like someone who is already prosperous. Think like someone who is already blessed. Move like someone who is already free. Because when you align with the vibration of wealth, wealth cannot help but find its way to you, not someday, but now and always.